The eviction notice hung on my door like a scarlet letter. Tomorrow at noon, my keys would no longer fit the lock unless I paid triple the rent overnight. He didn't know it yet, but by the next full moon, I would own the entire building, and his office would be the first room I renovated. I'd lived in apartment 3B for 7 steady years. Small kitchen, leaky radiator, a view of laundry lines, and sun bleached brick. But it was mine. City rent control capped annual increases at 2%. Yet somehow my landlord, Mr. Darrow, materialized a loophole. Declare capital improvements. Repaint the hallway beige and swap incandescent bulbs for LEDs. Voila! A new and improved complex worth triple the rent. Tuesday night, he slipped glossy brochures under every door. Luxury lofts coming soon. Current tenants invited to reapply. Translation: pay up or pack up. My neighbors, immigrants, students, a single mom with twins, panicked. Darrow's grin widened each time a moving truck rattled up the curb. He'd flip the building, cash out, and leave us orbiting the city's unaffordable moons. I worked as a junior analyst at a community credit union. Hardly Scrooge McDuck money. Paying triple meant choosing between rent and food. I begged Darrow for mercy. He tapped his gold pen on the lease, eyes flat as nickel. Business is business, Miss Lee. Renovations aren't free. That night I opened my pantry. 2 packets of ramen and hope thin as the noodles. I almost quit. Almost. But quitting tastes sour. Revenge tastes caramel sweet. Between balancing mortgages and small business loans at work, I'd learned one quirk of local banking. Distressed commercial properties quietly hit the auction list before public notice, especially if owners missed tax payments. Half curious, half desperate, I searched the city ledger. Darrow, it turned out, was 3 quarters behind on property taxes. He'd sunk every dime into cosmetic paint and LED bulbs, assuming inflated rent would cover the bill. But renters were fleeing faster than checks arrived. The building was sliding toward default, and a silent auction sat 2 weeks away. I called Nora, the single mom in 2A, and Benny, the law student in 4C. We crammed into my living room, laptops glowing. Benny discovered that the city allowed tenant associations to bid on their own residences to preserve affordable housing at preferential interest rates. Nora knew a contractor who owed her a favor for free childcare. I ran the numbers. If 8 of us pooled savings and we secured the city's 2% rehab loan, our monthly payments would be lower than our current legal rent. 8 frightened tenants signed papers that night with trembling hands and iron wills. We became the Maple Street Tenants Cooperative. Auction morning smelled like burnt coffee and fear. Darrow swaggered in, silk tie flicking a speck of lint from his lapel. He was the only bidder, until our little group slid into the back row, wrists encircled by cheap watches instead of Rolexes. The opening price flashed on the projector. Darrow lifted his bidder paddle, already smirking. I raised ours 1 increment higher. His forehead creased. Back and forth the numbers climbed, but every time he outbid us, I countered by exactly $1. Finally, at a price still 30% below market value, Darrow's cash dried up. He lowered the paddle, jaw rigid. Sold to Maple Street Tenants Cooperative. Our whispered cheers filled the chamber like a choir of kettles about to boil. 2 weeks later, Darrow stomped into my office, formerly his, demanding an extension to clear out his personal files. I granted him 72 hours, the same courtesy he'd offered me. As he left, I handed him a brochure. Identical design, brighter colors. Affordable homes reimagined. Previous landlords invited to reapply as tenants. He didn't smile. I did. For every neighbor still warm in their home. For every LED bulb we'd keep, not flip, and for the simple truth that karma sometimes wears a blazer and signs deeds in blue ink. Some stories end with eviction. Ours began there. If you've tasted injustice, remember knowledge is leverage, neighbors are allies, and the loophole swings both ways. This is Nita Revenge. Subscribe, ring the bell, and send your tale to stories@anitarevenge.com. Maybe next week, we'll show how your landlord learned the hard way that business, like karma, always balances the books.